This is a question and a suggestion. In the traffic studies you showed, you didn't show very deep into town, but I'm assuming that if this is an improved entranceway, it's going to encourage people to use it, which means that it'll become a greater feeder from, through GPS usage, from people dodging traffic on Route 66, heading down High Street, heading down Loveland to get out to the highway. It just seems to me that it'll increase the flow of people trying to cut around the Midtown traffic, which will be a problem for people living on those streets.
Right. That's something that you had mentioned that, I think, to Dave, and
I don't think I mentioned it.
so yes, we did hear that already, that suggestion, and that's something we're going to look at, because that's not something currently that we had investigated beyond. We looked at the entrance to the Route 17, the expressway, but we didn't look beyond that, and that cut through, I'm not aware of it.
There are cut-throughs in the north end and in that part of town all the time, and especially since the onset of the GPS systems.
Right.
People are
they just follow whatever it tells them. Right. I often head from the 91, 691 area, and many times I actually go 91 north all the way to Route 9 and then come back down. It's actually the same time for me to get from Wallingford to Haddam. It's the same time.
People would do that.
It's just more mileage. I actually get better mileage because it's highway traveling. But there's times when the traffic, I know it's not that bad, and I'll take 66 just for the nice ride and come through downtown. And I had no idea that you could do that.
Well, the only thing saying is that one of the other really unsafe roads in Middletown is Route 66. I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know that we looked at it when certain proposals were up for Route 66, and it seems to me that would encourage a lot more left-hand turns, which would kind of create traffic hazards on Route 66.
Yeah, we will definitely do that.
I just want to amplify this point. We live on High Street. We get a lot of traffic turning left on Loveland. Loveland becomes an on-ramp in effect for Route 9 because it joins up with what we call the Atchison connector, or the 17 connector. And it's people really pick up speed because they just treat Loveland like an on-ramp at that point. And a lot of people right now will prefer to use the Church Street to Union Street route because it's a safer on-ramp from Union Street, because the geometry is a lot better.
Right.
And there's no stop sign. When you get rid of that, all those people are going to come down Loveland Street.
Right.
And that's going to have a big impact on the neighborhood that is fragile. It's also High Street. It's going to have a lot more traffic coming down High Street, thinking about Route 9. There's going to be more speeding on High Street, and that's right next to Wesleyan. I don't think Wesleyan University is represented here, but it should be, because that's going to have an impact on Wesleyan University. So there's a lot of pedestrian traffic on that street, and there's a lot of people who live on that street.
Right. That's something, like I said, we're definitely going to take a look at that. And
actually, when DOT studied this with the big Citizens Advisory Commission that we had 10, 15 years ago,
yep.
with the lowering of the the Atchison connector to grade,
Yes.
that would have solved some of that, because it put in more intersections between Loveland and the interchange with Route 9. But this is not going to involve any lowering of the grade of the Atchison connector, so it means it's a straight shot once you get through that light at Loveland. It's a straight shot onto Route 9. So there's not going to be any there's no disincentive now to go down Loveland Street. I'm not being very clear, but in the old plan, at least with the lowering to grade, it created intersections where you have Main Street extended and East Main, right? That was all going to be developed with, nice boulevards, sidewalks, trees, maybe some houses, whatever, condos, maybe shops. That's all gone because it was too expensive, presumably. There was going to be a spewy interchange there, a single point unified interchange,
Yes.
whatever that acronym was.
Yep.
That's all gone. So now all we have is this on-ramp, and it's going to be fast. And we wrote a letter. The downtown, a lot of people living in the downtown wrote a letter to DOT about this, and we copied the mayor. So I just want to. That was 8 years ago, raising these very kinds of issues. Obviously, it was a slightly different scenario, but it was, it's similar kinds of issues about the amount of traffic that's going to be redirected down Loveland Street. So it's a big concern that we have. So I'm sorry to take your time, but I just wanted to amplify that point.
Yes, we'll take a look at it and look into that. I know that other proposal that you're talking about, your concerns mainly with the higher speeds.
Well, I think
Obviously,
volume of traffic, volume, there's going to be truck traffic, it's going to be higher speeds, people thinking about, they're already thinking about the highway on Loveland Street. When they get on Loveland, they're already, when they turn, we've had people drive into houses on that turn. Not drive into houses in front of them, drive into houses on the left and behind them. They're so anxious to get onto Loveland, onto Route 9. So it's really it's an odd situation. And maybe the only answer is to put a cul-de-sac at Route 9, not at Loveland there. And maybe that would solve. I think it would be great for the neighborhood, but I'm not sure it's great for everybody else.
Thank you, and we'll investigate that and take a look at that. We're here first.
Of the proposed $20 to $25 million in cost, can you estimate or guesstimate what portion of that is attributed to the closing of the on-ramp?
That's a good question.
Just looking for a cost-benefit analysis of that work.
That would be, I would say, we were probably at, what's it, 20 million? Yeah, it's probably about 5 million more for the closing of the ramp. So we were in the ballpark of about 20 million before considering the closing of the on-ramp. So about approximately 5 million. Yes.
I came in a little late, so I apologize if you addressed this, but first of all, I'm a resident of Loveland Street, so I want to echo some of the concerns, and I hope we address that. It's a great walkable community, and I'm somebody, my family and neighbors walk around all the time. One thing that Atchison or the 17 connector has on the north side is a sidewalk, and I use that a lot, and I think it's critical to getting down into Main Street Extension, to shopping, to the post office. I think this would be a great opportunity, and I know the DOT has been talking a lot about multimodal pedestrian opportunities, and I really respect what you're doing in terms of the riverfront, in terms of closing off that and making it a more pedestrian-friendly area, as well as I think it's important to cut down some of those accidents going on to that on-ramp with the extended ramp. But in terms of just pedestrian, improving that sidewalk, really making that a better area, that was something I was excited about with the previous plan, because it was really about pedestrian, taking it down to a level in which you're reconnecting neighborhoods that have been cut off. And I think that's a continuing theme with places like New Britain being cut off from the river, the way that highways and this particular extension can become a wall. And I think with this amount of money and focus, it would be a real lost opportunity if you didn't try to improve the pedestrian aspect of it. Can you address that at all?
Yes, we did notice that we do have that on the plan. We show connection to the, so we were definitely not going to remove that walk that you're speaking of. As far as improvement running down, that's something we could certainly look at during the design phase. Part of the problem with this type of project is the focus of this project is the safety concerns at the on-ramp. And it is, so we have to keep it somewhat confined to addressing those safety concerns and solving that problem. And it's very easy to sort of snowball and get away from you and incorporate more and more. But I do know of the walk that you're talking of, and that is something during the design phase we can take a look at the possibility. I would encourage you, if this did move forward, to we're going to make a note of it now and keep it in our files if we move forward. But certainly at there'll be more public outreach. I'll bring it up again, and we can take a look at the possibility of doing some sort of an improvement there.
Could you show us where he's talking about?
Yes. Along the north side of this on-ramp, right now there's a bituminous walk, and it heads all the way down to the end of that expressway and gives you access to, along the expressway as a pedestrian, and brings you to the other signal at Route 17, where Route 17 takes them right. There's a walk. And actually, it appears like, I think there's actually a bridge that connects that parking garage, I believe, in front of the hospital, and they can actually access that walk. I believe we saw that as well. So that's where the walk is right there.
Yeah, I've seen, and I'm sorry to take more time, I've seen in the neighborhood the dynamic of the need for parking for the hospital. They're parking in a lot of different areas, so, and they're walking and so I think a real considered design pedestrian plan would be important, especially as you go down that walkway and cross Main Street Extension. There's actually a stairway down to the park there. Safety would be a great way to really consider a crosswalk there. And interestingly, there's also access to Sumner Brook. And if you want to put a canoe down there, you could literally walk from Loveland Street or High Street and put your canoe into Sumner. So it's a cheap way to really gain river access as well. So it'd be worth looking at.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.